Welcome to me and Breach's Pick'ems. I assume if you're watching this, you watched probably some of our streams in the NCE League. So, we're just going to be going through the group stage bracket and seeing who we think is going to make it to the final bracket. Um, I guess start with Major 2, Group 1, which is going to be 0-1, Chicago Remnant, Orlando Void, and Nashville Acidity. I guess we can start with that first match, 0-1 versus Nashville Acidity.
I mean, you really got to give it to 0-1. Honestly, I mean, first in the standings, second at the last major. I mean, they've pretty much been dominant. That's probably going to be a 3-0 fashion for that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Nashville sitting at the last spot in the league as far as standings goes, 0-3 in the last split. So tough draw for them. Obviously going against the number one team in the last split. So yeah, probably gonna be a through for 0-1, and they'll move on to the semifinals of that part. Then we got Chicago Remnant versus Orlando Void. Should be interesting. Both teams went 2-1 in the last set of league play matches, so I kind of think that Remnant overall, from what we've seen, is a better team.
I think I completely agree with you. Even though standings are relatively close, they're relatively new. I believe they recently joined the league not too long ago, both teams. But yeah, I don't. Honestly, I think Remnant's just a stronger team, even though the standings doesn't reflect it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the who they played, Void definitely got the easier set of matches. So I mean, they beat who they were supposed to. I think they actually lost to 0-1, but so yeah, right now we have them dropping down to losers round 1 versus Nashville Acidity. And honestly, like I said, I hate to say Nashville's not gonna do anything, but they kind of were in a tough spot off of league play, so I'm kind of not gonna feel good about picking them over Void, but I do think it'll be a closer series. I'll go 3-1 Void. So
I'm gonna actually be the same with you. I agree. I'm gonna give them one map just because I think everybody can. I think a lot of teams in this league are good at search and have bad days on search as well. So I think they'll take the search. But I think just the teams in their group play, they are not ready for the teams in their group play. Honestly, it's not.
Yeah,
they just drew the short stick. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's gonna be tough for Acidity. I didn't actually pick a number score. I'd probably go Remnant 3-1 in the first match as well. But then they're going against 0-1, right? I think this is going to be a closer matchup than many people think. I don't know if Void or Remnant's going to pull an upset here, but I do think it's going to be a 3-2 the side of 0-1.
I completely disagree with you. 0-1 is past 2 years. They've been really dominant. They're still dominant. I mean, I'll give the Chicago Remnant the benefit of the doubt and say 0-1 has a bad day on search. So I mean, I'll let them take this. I'll let them take the search, but nah, they'll get. I definitely think 3-1 from 0-1. Just as long as they are competing the same, they should have no issue.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna really argue that because 0-1 has proven that they're definitely a top team, if not the top team in the league. So So we got 0-1 making it on to final group or final bracket, but then that means a rematch for Remnant versus Void. And I don't know, you think it's going to go any different the second time? For me personally, I'm still thinking it's going to be a 3-0, 3-1 in that match.
I agree with you. I think Remnant and 0-1 comparatively to their counterparts in their group play, I just think they're so much ahead of Orlando Void and Nashville Acidity.
Yeah, and I mean that's just part of it being Group 1. You know, that's the least balanced group. So
I completely agree, and they're just gonna. I think I like to give teams the benefit of the doubt. But honestly, this time I think Remnant will just shove it down their throat. So I think they'll go 3-0.
All right, so we got 0-1 and Chicago Remnant moving on into the final week of the bracket. So it should be interesting there. And now we're going into Group 2. Group 2 is a little more the same as far as balance goes. A little more balanced on the second match, but we're going to start with the first match, which is Infinite Amsterdam versus Miami Merciless. Miami, I mean, after the S&D showdown in the beginning of the year, they kind of just fell off. I mean, really not many signs of life, and they're just trying to work through a roster right now, and I don't know if they're going to be making any changes after this. I guess it depends how it goes, but I got Infinite 3-0. I mean, Infinite, they didn't lose a map, I don't think. Maybe one map total in league play, but I don't remember if they did. So
yeah, I completely agree with you, honestly. Infinite's looking really strong, sitting at third. They've been strong, and honestly, Miami, a long fall from what they used to be. I know a lot of different roster changes. I'm not going to get into all that, but they used to. I feel like they used to be a top team, and now it feels like they're struggling to keep their head above water. So, but yeah, Infinite 3-0.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Miami to bounce back, and then I mean, like you said, it's weird because they were top 5 team last season, and now this season they're just struggling with the new game, which happens. So then the second match we got Buffalo Smite versus Halifax Highlanders. Buffalo is a new team into the league, sitting at 2-1 right now from the last split. I don't know exactly where they're at in the final standings, and Highlanders, I think also Highlanders went 1-2. So.
Well, just that. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Just to give you a little insight, they are, as long as this is as of January 29th. Buffalo Smite is 8th and Halifax Highlanders are 9th. But now you can continue.
No, I mean, yeah, they're pretty close, and Highlanders had a bit of a tougher schedule. So if I had to guess, and they did a new roster halfway through league play, I'm kind of feeling a slight upset here for Highlanders, honestly. I'm going to go 3-2 for them. I don't know how you're feeling for that, but...
Personally, I really don't know. I don't remember too much of either roster, so I can't give too great of insight. So, honestly, I'm just gonna give it based off what I know. I'm gonna give Buffalo Smite a leg up, but I think it's gonna be a really close game. I think it'd be like 3-2, either way, personally. So I'm gonna give Buffalo 3-2. But as far as
we never talked about we have separate picks, so I guess we'll just do our separate predictions as far as the losers round and semifinal round. But if you want to go ahead and see or say who you think's going to take it between Smite and Infinite, going into that, go ahead.
It's gonna be Infinite. Infinite's, they're a powerhouse team. They obviously know they're a great team. They're definitely top three team in the league by far. And it's gonna be a 3-0.
3-0
Honestly, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I think especially for these early groups, I think these are some strong teams and they know it, and I think the teams that they play against know they're strong, and it's a little intimidating. So I think they're just gonna take their all that gunny and all that power, and they're gonna shove it down their throats. So yeah,
Yeah.
3-0 easy.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat with Highlanders. Honestly, it's like I don't see them. I see them overcoming Smite. Don't see them, in the end overcoming Infinite. But I mean, honestly, if we are being blunt here, I think losers round 2 is going to be Buffalo versus Highlanders, unless you think Miami could beat, either of those teams in that losers round 1.
No, I don't think Miami, unless obviously, I have not seen what Miami has looked like lately. I don't even know how they did in the league play matches of the past few weeks. But unless they did some significant change that I do not know about, yeah, they're not beating. I don't see them beating any of these teams.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So then, I guess getting out of losers round 2, I mean, we'll try to agree on this.
Yeah.
Who's getting out? Buffalo or Highlanders? I picked Highlanders in that round 1 because when we casted them, I thought they looked really good, and then other than a couple mistakes which costed them against Four Horsemen, I didn't think they looked terrible. And obviously, I haven't seen much from Smite, being they're pretty new to the league, so
yeah,
I kind of just went with what I know, but I don't know for this last one.
I can give it to Highlanders. I agree with you. Yeah, there was a lot of key mistakes that really bolted them to lose that match against the Four Horsemen. Me and you casted that when seeing a lot of mischows and just a lot of few mistakes that if fixed, I mean that match goes completely different. So yeah, I can definitely give it. Honestly, I even go 3-1 this time for Highlanders. I think they'll come out hot.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning. So Group 2, Infinite, Highlanders coming out of the group stage in the final bracket for Group 2. But Group 3, it's kind of where it starts to get a little more interesting. I say a little more interesting because just actually heard recently that New York War is not going to be competing in Major 2, and since there's a team lock, no team will be replacing them for this match. So New York War obviously going to be lose that match against Boston because they won't be showing up for it. But
I don't think it really mattered personally, but
yeah, I mean, New York War struggled all year. It was kind of a matter of time before they kind of called it quits on that. They just couldn't get a roster together. But we got Vegas Villains versus San Antonio Suitor. Villains went 2-1 and beat LA Ignition, who was at the time a top 4 team, and they beat I forget who the other team they played was. Don't remember the other team they played. I think it actually was the team before San Antonio Suitor. But so this is going to be a pretty interesting map. I gotta lean Villains here because, like I said, I've seen them in last match. They came out hot with the 3-0. Looked pretty much, looked the best they have for quite a while. So I'm gonna give it a 3-1 for them.
Yeah, I wasn't on their last map. I was informed by one of the, I believe he's the captain, Munch, that they were playing with an incomplete team, but nonetheless, I still think Villains looked great. I think it might have been closer, but I still think they come out on top. I definitely give them 3-1. If not 3-0, honestly, because they're looking really good right now. I think, and they have all the confidence in the world right now. Just from that post-game interview from Floof. So, I give them 3-1. three. I could settle for 3-1 because I think again with this game and in this league, I think anybody can take an S&D. I think it's just a matter of luck and timing.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I'm kind of in the same boat there. And obviously Suter would beat New York Horse. So the semifinal match, Boston Massacre, Vegas Villains. I'm 100% biased here, but part of me wants to see Villains kind of revenge tour back from the rivalry match where they kind of got, lack of better term, got waxed by Boston. But at the time, that was a completely different Villains roster. This one looks way better. I'm kind of picking them in a 3-2, but like I said, that's just me being biased. You're kind of biased, but you're not as crazy as me, so.
Yeah, I want Villains to win because, obviously, we are Villains. But I gotta be honest. I think, and Boston's definitely done some little changes. Replays and Apache, obviously a hot duo, and then with the addition of Rooms as well. Honestly, the past matches they've looked really unstoppable.
Yeah,
I can't say that I've only seen one match out of this team, and I've seen more matches out of Boston with their team. So I'll let them go the distance, but I definitely think Boston takes it.
I'm just kind of looking at the match records, right? They 3-0'd Villains that first week. Like I said, different team. Hardpoint Boston is unbelievable. I mean, those teams barely get over 100 points against them in most of those matches. But they got a 3-2 against San Fran outgoing, and they struggled in the searches, did terrible in control. So there is room here for Villains to Neslo, but that's kind of going to have to be the path for them.
I think, they definitely got to take both searches. I think even when I was competing and the Villains roster, I was competing on the Villains roster, and they weren't that great. We took a search from them. So, and I mean, at the point, we weren't doing that well. So,
right.
Yeah,
definitely struggles in search. So,
yeah, definitely not their game. They'd have to take the searches and the control because their hard point, especially with their new additions to the team, it's out of hand. I don't know many teams really even contesting the hard points.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll go with you for the Boston. We'll say a 3-2, but I don't know. Do you think Suter in this eventual round 2 matchup could upset Villains, or do you think Villains just gonna bounce back from that loss to Boston and make it in?
I think they'll bounce back. I see the Villains, and I see a confident team right now. Obviously, we've only seen one match, and Suter hasn't looked good. So I don't think Suter's gonna make it just because of, unless, again, I don't know any new additions late as of today. So I mean, things can change, but I believe it's roster lock, so I don't think it matters.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, I'm gonna give Villain. I think they'll start out hot and go 3-0 personally.
Yeah.
With the addition of Mills and Mischief and Shoku, they've kind of all, and then mixing with Floof, it's just they've been dominant. So
okay,
I give them 3-0.
All right, so we got Villains Boston heading in the final bracket out of Group 3. So final Group 4, obviously supposed to be the highest contested bracket. And just looking at this thing, kind of madness. Hawaii Syndicate is the trying to find out, like, they're the newest team. Right after the Week 3 match in league play, 4 Horsemen just dropped out randomly, and so Hawaii came in at that point, heading in, like, inheriting their record going into the major. So I have no clue if this team is god tier, if they're bad. it's just like I don't know where to go with that one. I guess we can go with one we have seen before: San Fran Outgoing versus LA Ignition. At the time, it was Nagasaki versus Outgoing. They kind of switched up the teams there, but I think it was a 3-1 in the side of Outgoing. So yeah, it was, and we casted that match. It was a good close series. It just, from what I remember, Outgoing just not able to take those hard points, or Ignition not able to take those hard points. That's gonna be so confusing in my mind, but I kind of got Outgoing winning a 3-2 in that.
I completely agree with you. I think Outgoings look pretty dominant, but they are known to not start off hot, which really hurts. And with some of these teams, because some of these teams, if you don't start off great against them, they're gonna take their momentum and they're gonna shove it down you. They're gonna shove it down your throat and they're gonna win it. They can mount comebacks, but I definitely think their matches are gonna be closer, and but definitely a 3-2 from San Fran.
Yeah, I'm with that, and then Brussels Eternal Syndicate. I can't, like, I don't want to just say they're gonna get 3-0, but I just don't know what to even expect.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I think for the sake of our pick'ems and just going with what we know, I'm gonna go with they're gonna get 3-0 by Eternal. Eternal won Major 1. They only slowed down and lost. I mean, they went 2-1 in league play. So
and I believe that was off an unfortunate forfeit. So
yeah, they had some scheduling.
Yeah.
Issues, so it wasn't like they performed terrible.
Yeah, and in Major 2 or Major 1, they 3-0'd everybody up until the final, where 0-2-1 gave them a fight, won the first game to 5 to get the bracket reset, and then 3.
Yeah.
Then they came back and won 3-2. Yeah, you just got to give it to Brussels. They've looked good all year long, and I don't see anything slowing them down.
Yeah, and I guess that brings us to them versus Outgoing. Outgoing, obviously the higher seed here, but Eternal, like you said, they came out hot Major 1, 3-0'd everybody. There was the whole monitor cam situation that may play out differently this tournament because of that. I don't really see it changing that much based on what we saw in the finals. Still winning that. So I kind of going to give Eternal the 3-1 against Outgoing here. Slight upset, but not really as far as the grand scheme of things goes.
Yeah, and as far as standings concerned, I mean, they are second in the standings. Brussels and 6 for San Fran. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I see a 3-0 fashion. Brussels, there's not been many teams to contest Brussels besides 0-1, not even Infinite, and they are the third seed, or they are not the third seed, but third in the standings. And they've just looked really good. I mean, I know that whole Monty cam came into place, and everybody was making a big roar up for it, but I mean, obviously, you said it. Nothing really changed in the finals. I guess they kind of slowed down a bit, but yeah. I mean, they still won. They still won with the money cam. So,
right.
You gotta give it. You gotta give props where props are due.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. And then obviously, Outgoing rematch versus Ignition. Unless you think Syndicate, surprises us in Ignition. Like I said, I don't even know. They could be better than Brussels. We have just nothing to go on. So I'm kind of just under the assumption of just picking the teams that I know.
Yeah, I mean,
beating them. So
I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, we don't know anything about Hawaiian Syndicate, and until we do, you're not gonna get picked really. So
right, we'll find out, but. It's gonna be interesting. So, for the sake of this, we're just gonna say LA versus San Fran in the rematch, losers round 2. You got the Florida Mutineers Optics situation, or you just going with the outgoing, still taking that win for there?
I'm actually thinking about giving it to Ignition. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I think these teams, they've played each other so much, and a lot of these maps are super close. With outgoing slow start and probably gonna get 3-0'd by Eternal, gonna hurt that confidence. I don't know if they'll be able to take down Ignition. So kind of got the only big upset of the group play bracket for me in my mind, if you're with me or not.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna give Ignition 3-2. I can see the upset, and I think they'll get, obviously, in a better terms of word, I think they'll get destroyed by Brussels, and I think Ignition can pull it out 3-2 though. Just obviously it's gonna depend on the maps. And that everybody is playing on the Ignition, because I know they had a roster situation the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right.
I would love to see it 3-2 for Ignition.
Yeah, that would definitely bring in some intrigue to the whole situation. And yeah, I mean, those are our picks. We got, let me just run through them fully. Okay, we got 0-2-1. We got Chicago Remnant, Infinite, Highlanders, Boston, Vegas, outgoing, Ignition and Eternal going into final bracket. And most of these matches you'll be able to catch on Breach's stream at twitch.tv/Breach Elite, and other ones they're gonna be getting casters for 7 Seas COD League, or not League, but you know what I'm talking about. We'll obviously link all that in the Twitter, but yeah, any final words for this Major 2 coming up next week?
We will also be doing pick'ems next week, or not, well, whenever group play is finished.
It's 2 weeks from now. That Friday 2 weeks from now is when we start winners round 1 of finals group. So
alright, yeah. So we will do pick'ems once, obviously, we know the teams that will be in the final bracket. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much, and stay tuned for watching the matches.